Hi, this is Natalie Rydstrom here from Sportsbook The US Open starts today, and here to run through some value plays is João Mourato from MG Tennis Tipster.com. Joel will be with us every morning at the same time to give us his best value plays for tomorrow's action. Joel, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Natalie.
Now let's move on to the men's singles now. Who are the main favourites that will play tomorrow, and how do you expect them to perform?
There are four main favorites that will get in action tomorrow. Andy Murray will have a tough match against Nick Kyrgios. Kyrgios is also always a dangerous player with his serve and his aggressive game, offensive ground strokes. However, Murray has been able to deal very well with Kyrgios' style. They played 3 times before. Murray won all them in straight sets. They played 2 times this year on Grand Slams, on Australian Open and French Open. And Kyrgios hasn't been very good lately. Had some problems with their controversy with Wawrinka that has affected him, and he's not at 100% still. He also struggled with back pain against Gasquet in the following tournament in Cincinnati, and this will be a very tough game for the Australian. Murray has great return skills to serve. He is very solid from the baseline, and Kyrgios gets frustrated when on the other side is a very good returner like Murray. Kyrgios also showed that sometimes when he gets upset, he just gives a set to his opponent like he did in Wimbledon against Gasquet on second set, losing 1-6. He even got a warning for no effort because he wasn't trying at all. And Murray line is at -7 at 1.87. And this is a line he should be able to cover. Murray can do good damage with his return to serve especially, and he should win at least 1 set with a big margin that will help this handicap. Other favorite that will get into action is Thomas Berdych against the wild card North American Bjorn Fratangelo. Berdych lost to Dolgopolov in Cincinnati in a poor performance, but Dolgopolov's style with his slices, his changes of pace are always something that bothers Thomas. When playing against more consistent baseline players like this Fratangelo, he doesn't have much problems. He showed that in Cincinnati, defeating Tommy Robredo 6-0, 6-1. And this is a kind of matchup that suits very well the Czech. Fratangelo, like I said, got a wild card to play here. And despite being American, his game suits better clay. He's a former junior French Open champion. And there's not much he can do to bother Berdych. The Czech should be able to overplay his opponent from the baseline, especially with his forehand. And despite having a higher line at -9.5 at 1.99, he should be able to cover it. The 2 other main favorites that will get on action are 2 Swiss. Stan Wawrinka will face Albert Ramos. His handicap line is at -7.5 at 1.93, and this is not a very good line to bet on, because Stan always has a bad mindset in these first matches when he faces lower level opponents. He knows he's the main favorite, he knows has everything to win the match, and so he plays what I like to call at minimum effort level. He just gets 1 break of serve per set, or even goes to tiebreak where he raises the level and clearly beats his opponent, but he usually doesn't get very big margins on his wins. So this might be a big tricky match to bet on. And also Ramos is a solid baseline player, always a tough matchup for Wawrinka despite leading 4-0 the head-to-head. Stan lost twice a set to Ramos, and the Spanish can be a tough matchup, so no bet here is the suggestion. At last, Federer against Leonardo Mayer can always be a tough match too. They played last year in Shanghai, where Mayer was very close from beating Federer, lost only on a 3rd set tiebreak. However, the Argentinian hasn't been very consistent lately, and on the 3rd set, on the decisive set where he has played, his level has just dropped. He lost 2-6 against Chardy and 1-6 against Kevin Anderson in his preparation for this event. And as long as the match goes, his level should start to decrease, the number of errors start to increase, and Federer might do well on the 2nd and especially 3rd set. Our suggestion here is to wait for the end of the 1st set. His line is at -8.5 at 1.97. But the 1st set might be very close. Mayer can do well with his serve and powerful ground strokes. But after that, in the middle of 2nd set and end of 2nd set, his number of errors should start to increase, and Federer might do well on very well on third set. And our suggestion is to wait for the end of first set and then get involved on this match where the handicap value might be higher.
All right, fantastic. So we've got 4 favourites there to look out for tomorrow. But what are the best plays for the day?
There are three plays today that are very interesting. 2 of them on underdogs. One of them is James Duckworth from Australia against Hyung Chung from South Korea. Chung is a young player, a rising star that is trying to get his place in top 100. He's a very solid baseline player, like he's always like all Asian players are, very consistent. However, he doesn't have any real weapon to make damage on his opponents, and where we can see that is his record against top 100 players. He only won 5 and lost 13 matches, and most of his results are made on Asian challengers, where he's much more consistent than his opponents and wins very big points there. James Duckworth has a very good serve, strong ground strokes, and loves to come to the net. He's much more inconsistent than Chung, but also he's managed to reach a higher level of game and seems to be underrated here by the bookies. He's at 3.22, and this is a match where he has chances to give a very good fight. Maybe this will go into a 5th set, so Duckworth here has very good value on this match. The other underdog is Alias Bedene against Ernest Gulbis. Gulbis is having a very poor season, very inconsistent. Recently, he made a good run in Montreal, reaching quarterfinals and losing only in 3 sets to Djokovic. However, after that, he returned to his lower level, losing in first round of Vancouver Challenger against Marchenko, and also losing in first round of Winston-Salem against Lucas Rosol. Gulbis' main problems have been with his forehand, very erratic, very big problems for him to keep that shot in play, and when he tries to go for higher accelerations, he makes a higher number of errors. And Bedene is a very talented player, has a good serve, can do well with his ground strokes, and has been playing very well lately. He decided to go also to Winston-Salem before this tournament, got a big win over Gilles Simon in a huge marathon that took 3 hours and were needed 3 tiebreaks to decide it. And the following day had a heavy loss against Pierre-Hugues Herbert from France, but that was a pretty normal defeat. He was on court 3 hours in the previous day against Simon, so he didn't want to get any extra fatigue with US Open around the corner. But then he had played at a very good level of tennis, and Gulbis can never be this high favorite. But then he's at 2.52 and has very good chances here. Gulbis too inconsistent, and the value is clearly on Bedene. The last play of the day for tomorrow is on a favorite, Philipp Kohlschreiber from Germany. He won a title recently on clay in Kitzbühel. After that, decided to skip Rogers Cup in order to start his preparation on hard court in Cincinnati. He lost his first match there against João Sousa, but wasn't a very surprising defeat. It was the first match from Kohlschreiber on hard court in several months, and also the conditions there in Cincinnati are pretty fast, and Kohlschreiber does better in slower hard courts, like in these US Open courts. The courts are very slower here than comparing to Cincinnati, and Philipp Kohlschreiber knows how to take very good advantage of it. He since 2008, he has a 10 wins and only 1 loss record as favorite, and his only loss was against Troicki in 2008, where he retired. And when betting on him as favorite since 2008, the yield is very good, 24.1%. So it's a very good investment as favorite. Zverev is also a young player trying to raise his level and reach good positions in the ranking. However, he's still too inconsistent, mentally a little fragile, and Kohlschreiber should know how to take advantage of that. He has more weapons from the baseline. He can do very well with his ground strokes, and he already showed that this year, winning 6-2, 6-4 against his fellow countrymen in Munich. And Kohlschreiber also said that his biggest goals for the rest of the season are this US Open and Davis Cup. So I expect Kohlschreiber very motivated, and his handicap line -4 at 2.05 seems a very good line for this match.
Okay, fantastic. That was João Mourato there from mgtennistipster.com. Don't forget, João will be with us every single day here covering the US Open, giving us the favourites to watch out for and bets for the following day. Also, don't forget to head on over to our Twitter account, SBR Sports Picks, for our daily live in-play betting. João, thank you for joining us, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Natalie. See you tomorrow.